What is up, everybody? Ethan the Ginger Runner here for another Ginger Runner Live, and I have in-studio guests. This is the first time in this location that I've ever had this. I am so excited. James Varner, Gretchen Walla, and of course, my long legs, Kimberley Teshima. It is episode 43. I'm so excited about today's episode because I think all of us are partaking in some holiday beverage, leftovers / delicious, good local stuff. But we're going to talk about it on today's show. Welcome, everybody, to Ginger Runner Live.
Woohoo. Looks like evil.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. As I mentioned, I'm joined by three guests actually. Two guests who just drove in to LA. You guys just got in. And actually, I just realized I turned off my. Of course, Kimberley Teshima from Vancouver. So we have a bunch of guests tonight, and I'm really, really excited. James Varner and Gretchen Walla from Rainshadow Running / the Trail Running Film Festival. Thank you guys for joining us.
You left out
That's the pizza.
Oh, yeah.
The pizza. Perfect. We have two more guests. The pizza man and our dog. And actually the pizza, we'll count that as a guest.
Yeah, sure.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. What a great start to the beginning of episode number 43. I'm actually really excited to have you two here because I've met James a handful of times at the finish line of Rainshadow Running Ultras, just dead and like dying. Oh, thank you, James, so much for putting on and like passing out basically.
Beer.
Yeah, just give me beer and pizza. So you put on some of the most amazing ultras in the country. I've recommended them to all of my friends and anyone who watches any of my videos. If you've seen the Gorge 100K or 50K videos, if you've seen what was the Oregon Coast trailer, the one that I just dropped on the YouTube channel, that was also a Rainshadow event. I'm so excited that I'm doing more events in 2015. Yeah. You're putting on a number of events.
Yeah.
Bring it on over. She's standing over there like, what should I do with the pizza? Serve it up. We might need to get paper plates and paper towels. I'm realizing that.
I don't know if I'm going to eat pizza in front of the television.
Okay, we can always hold it out to the side.
I'll just hold it.
Yeah.
But if we get hungry enough, we can smoke it.
Who knows? Just don't let the dog get it. So when you started Rainshadow, what was going through your mind as far as what was missing from trail running at the time or ultra running? Did you set out to create some of the most epic races? Was that your goal, or was your goal to create really hard races? Because they're all really hard. What was kind of your initial goal with Rainshadow?
I had no goal.
That's even better.
It wasn't intentional in the beginning. You know, I started out as a volunteer at a race at a Fat Ass, Capital Peak Fat Ass in Olympia, and next thing I knew, I was co-director of the Fat Ass.
Wow.
And then we added a real race in the summertime. Capital Peak 50 miler, 55K is what it became. And then I stumbled upon Orcas, and I stumbled upon other really amazing places. Orcas Island was the first one, 2006. And that one also was a Fat Ass and wasn't thinking.
Non-sanctioned events, essentially.
Well, we had a permit.
We had permits and stuff, but
Fat
it
Asses
wasn't.
don't do permits because usually you don't charge money, or you charge just enough to cover your costs for a Fat Ass. So like, you know, $3, $5 or something.
Kim has a guess.
Yes. Good. That's, you know, everybody should be included.
We can't leave anyone out.
Inclusive night. So yeah, Fat Asses usually have very little aid stations. They don't have T-shirts. They don't have prizes. And so it was just, what I was trying to do was just kind of give back to the community that I was already running races, and I was already thankful that they existed. And a lot of them were just so much fun that if you weren't running one, you were volunteering.
Yeah,
it's just kind of my philosophy, and so many other people, especially here in the Northwest. Yeah. I'm sure around the country too, it's just like that. My first two ultras were actually in Maryland on the East Coast.
Okay.
So Rainshadow Running just evolved very slowly, where I just kept discovering really cool places that didn't have races yet. Like when I first started running ultras in the Northwest, there was just I don't know, less than 10 ultras.
Total for the year.
From BC to Washington to Oregon. There was very often you would have to go, like I lived in Olympia, Washington at the time, and if you wanted to run an ultra in May, your only option was to go down to McDonald Forest in Corvallis, Oregon. If you wanted to run an ultra in like July, it was kind of funny. You had two options. And they were both on the same day: the White River 50 miler and the Mount Hood 50 miler.
Take your pick.
But that was really rare. Usually there was like one ultra per month in the entire Northwest back in the early 2000s. And so I kept discovering all these other cool places that didn't have races yet. And obviously everybody wanted to do more races and the sport was growing. So yeah, I never woke up one day and was like, I'm going to take over the world and create this thing called Rainshadow Running and have 18 days of races.
But you did, because it's, for those of you who are not in the know, or maybe have a lot of international viewers who might be catching this in a post-show or later down the road, check out Rainshadow Running Races, because they're all fairly Northwest based, whether it's Oregon or Washington, even some Eastern Washington events. They pretty much all have the hashtag epic on it. They will take you over some of the most incredible mountains, tough terrain, through rivers, behind waterfalls. I mean, everything that you could possibly want in a fantasy race, Rainshadow has it covered. That's why I'm running as many of them next year as possible, because they're very tough. But they make it worth it, even if you're traveling from across the globe. You know, it's a lot like what Gary Robbins is putting on too up there. Just races that are totally worth attending. And it's not just you. Obviously, Gretchen, also a part of Rainshadow Running, and Matt and Carrie, who are not here.
People are asking us where Matt and Carrie are.
Oh, no.
Matt and Carrie are at home. Well, I think they're home now. They've been traveling for the holidays. I want to give a big shout out to Matt's dad, who's currently in the hospital recovering from surgery. We're really hoping that everything goes really well with that. Matt and Carrie are huge to Rainshadow Running. They are basically the behind the scenes people that are keeping our shit together.
They're the rock.
The
Rainshadow rock.
And so even when Gretchen and I are out on tour with the film festival that we're on right now, they are still doing a lot for the film festival back home. We opened registration for one of our races today. They're handling all that. I mean, there's so many stuff that we're able to do because they're back there in the office.
It's amazing. And anytime you email Rainshadow Running, they're usually the ones that respond.
They coordinate the volunteers. They built the websites. They do a lot of the social media. They're taking over a lot of the permit responsibilities from me to free me up to do other projects. They do a ton. And of course, race week. They sleep very little. They bust their butts. We also have a fifth member who is part-time with Rainshadow. That's John Pirch from Olympia. He's the race director for the Capitol Peak Fat Ass and the Capitol Peak 50 miler and 55K. So we kind of brought that race into the Rainshadow family, which is fitting because I helped with those races in the very beginning. And they've just grown to the point where John needs more help, and he's also a super experienced race director, so he's helping at a lot of our other races. So there's 5 of us now.
That's it. I mean, could you imagine it would ever get to 5 team members? And I'm sure it's going to grow. I mean, as the years go on and the races become more popular.
And as we add more races and add more projects.
In
the beginning, I mean, for years, I directed 2, 3, 4 races and had a full-time job and was training full-time. And,
crazy.
And our races were crazy.
So I want to also remind you that Kim is in the chat room live as I interview Gretchen and James. Kim is watching your comments. So if you guys have any questions for either of them, Rainshadow Running, the film festival, let us know in the chat room. Kim will get your questions to us, and I'm also kind of scanning comments and stuff like that.
What are people saying right now?
The biggest
plaid, solid.
The biggest problem is with my choice of clothes.
Plaid, solid.
Oh, like, where's Kim's plaid shirt?
Plaid fail.
Yeah, total plaid fail. Kim looks great. So Kim, if you need to put a plaid shirt on, I don't think she needs to qualify with the plaid. And also, what are we drinking? It's based on the
really good LA beer.
I had to hook them up with some local. This is one of my local favorites. There's a brewery just down the street, actually. Wolf Amongst Weeds IPA.
Yeah. Highly recommended.
Super good.
And I'm drinking also the Golden Road Back Home Gingerbread Stout, which is a leftover from the holiday. And it is so good. Kim, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a grapefruit hef.
Yeah, it's like
It's
a
orange.
it's like a Radler.
I hope the screen can
It's
see
a
that.
Schofferhofer. Or Scho. You guys, I'm so sorry. Schofferhofer, whatever that is. Hefeweizen with
It's
grapefruit.
kind of like a Radler.
It's like a Radler.
I'm a fan of that.
It's very, very good. What are you guys drinking at home? Let us know in the chat room.
Yeah.
Okay, so Gretchen and James, why are you guys in LA? Why are you guys here? Let's get to the root of this. Tell me all about it.
Doesn't everybody want to be in LA?
Yeah, well, yeah. But those of us who are in LA definitely want to leave LA. Ugh, it's so gross here. No, it's not. It's actually really nice right now. Why are you guys in LA? Why are you guys driving down?
Gretchen, you
alright.
take that one.
I'm gonna speak. No. Tomorrow night is our trail running film fest in LA.
Woo!
Yeah.
I was like,
Woo!
slightly sad, woo. I know we can do better than
We're
that,
getting
but
tired.
that's awesome.
It's been a long tour.
Yeah. We have 17 films. 17 films that we're
17.
going to be showing tomorrow night. In 2.5 hours, we'll have an intermission, some raffles, beer.
I love it. I love it.
Great time. Only a few tickets left. So those that want to come on down need to buy.
You need to get your tickets now. If you're
Yeah.
in LA, in Los Angeles, this is your only chance to see how many films did you say?
17.
17 films.
Films, videos, a few previews.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
whole
wide
bunch of
variety of
content.
stuff. Yeah.
High-end, high promotion stuff, like really good budget, and then my stuff at the bottom. It's all there. You get a taste of all of it. But if you're,
They're all good.
they're fantastic. I can't wait till tomorrow night. So if you're in LA, there's a couple tickets left. Get them now. Just do it.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple more dates. You still have Sacramento ahead of you, Monterey, Portland, Vancouver, and Seattle.
Yes.
So if you are in any of those 4 cities, get your tickets. If there are tickets available.
Vancouver, Washington, not BC.
But yeah, Vancouver, Washington, it's Portland.
Right.
For our Canadian friends to the north, we will be coming.
Yes.
I think out of all of the countries, we've had numerous countries from around the world request that we come bring the Trail Running Film Festival
So
to
awesome.
them.
Yeah.
But Canada is just overwhelming our inbox, which is good. It's
That's
great.
great.
We want to make it happen. We just got
I love
to
it.
figure out the logistics going
Yeah.
to another country, working in their country.
How
But
it works.
yeah, I'm sure there's a way. People do it all the time.
Yeah, passports.
We have passports.
Okay, then I think you're good.
Just add maple syrup.
Yeah.
Good.
Put on the plaid. You guys have that going for you. Maybe what are they? Mountie uniforms?
Uh-huh.
No, that would be illegal, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
No,
impersonating
no,
Mounties,
no, none of that. Okay, so how
Maybe we'll
long?
get Mounties to come to the festival.
Hey,
Yeah.
Mounties. I know there's a bunch of you watching.
Mountie ultra runners.
There's at least 4 of you watching the show. How long have you been on tour then with the film festival? Because I know that you guys have been out there driving from city to city across the country for weeks and months, but how long? Like, when did you really start this process?
Well, the first show was October 22nd in Boulder, but we've been on the road since the beginning of October. I mean, from a race that I had in California to then putting on the Oregon Coast race, and then we jumped on tour from Oregon Coast. We drove back up to Washington, dropped off the race stuff, and then drove how many hours down to Colorado?
Days.
So-
We measure that in days.
No, yeah. Long stretch down to Colorado, and maybe a couple hours of sleep, and Molden did the show in Boulder, which was great.
Yeah. Well, the Boulder scene is awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Both for trail running, ultra running, film-making. I mean, there seems to be just the full culture there. Beer drinking, it's all there.
Yeah. Until last night in San Francisco, Boulder was our largest. Everybody's distracted.
Yeah.
It was our largest attended show. We had over
Wow.
200 people at the Boulder show, and then I think we had 30 or 40 more people last night.
Wow.
At the
Awesome.
Boulder show, and
A lot of big names at the Boulder show.
yeah, the who's who of ultra running.
I mean, for our first show, we were like, ooh.
Yeah, the pressure was on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ultimate Directions, one of our sponsors of the entire tour,
Cool.
they had their people there. Yeah, definitely made us a little nervous to start out with a big show like that, almost sold out show, and
yeah.
And so it went on for weeks, but your shows weren't like, hey, every Saturday is another city. It's
almost every night. Off in our first nine
shows.
9 days.
Oh man!
And then we followed that with my sister's wedding. So there wasn't necessarily like a day off. For our days off, which was great. It was great to see the family and all that stuff. And Gretchen did this gnarly run on the ocean. So they got married in Charleston, South Carolina, and it was like probably 50-mile-an-hour winds, and it was like super cold for Charleston, and it was like sleeting and raining.
We hadn't been out for a run for a while, so I thought I'd go for it.
Yeah.
It was one of those where your teeth were cold, sort of thing. Like it was. Yeah.
But I stayed in the house.
Go for it, Gretchen. Go have fun.
But so like we, on average, we probably have probably more like 5 shows a week. On average throughout our tour.
I mean, in my mind, I'm like, oh, you're doing this really amazing trail running film festival. The best part about it will be going to these different cities and then running the trails with the locals. Have you even had a chance to do that?
Yeah, a few times.
More so
lately.
Wait,
not as much as you want.
A little different. Lately. No,
we see totally eye to eye. What are you talking about?
We've discovered a lot.
Yeah, the first couple of weeks we were behind schedule on booking. We were behind schedule on promoting. So yeah, all summer long I was supposed to be working on that stuff, but instead I was like out at Hard Rock running in the beautiful mountains.
That's right, yeah.
Colorado and other places, and putting on races and playing and all that stuff. So next thing I knew, it was like time for the tour to start, and we didn't have all of our ducks in a row. And so we were actually driving to our very first shows and still lining up venues for later shows. And I mean, for a lot of the shows, people were hearing about them the day of. Yeah. Like if we were getting a week's notice to people, we felt really great.
But this is also the first year you've done this.
This is the first year.
You've done, did you do a film festival last year, just like a single location? Or
at Gorge Waterfalls 50K in 2013, so a year and a half ago, was the very first one in like the modern era.
Okay.
In the old days at Orcas Island.
As opposed to the ones where they chiseled out the films frame by frame on stone.
They were silent movies.
Yeah,
black and white.
It's just running. It's just running black and white figures with mustaches.
Yeah.
That gives me an idea for submission for next year's festival.
Good. Speaking of submissions, next year we want people to submit all kinds of stuff.
We've already got that question in here, and actually someone asked, Kim, I don't know if you saw that one, the submitting for hosting the festival?
Right.
How can someone submit?
We're just all over the place. Yeah. Let's do it. You want to talk about that?
They just send us an email and in regards to, first, if they have a theater in mind in their location that's great independent theater, serves beer, that is the big thing. It's sometimes hard to find.
Pretty much essential.
But also, connected in the running community. I mean, we're finding in cities we don't know, the best people are the ones that are the runners and know their community.
Yeah.
So sending us an email and just connecting as to if they want to host it, there's a good chance that we can try and make it happen. So
we want to take over the world. So
I was going to ask, what's the goal? What's the goal with this?
There's been people asking, any plans to, hit up the East Coast with some of these film festivals?
We were on the East Coast. Yeah,
you're all screwed.
So let's see. So
more venues on the East Coast?
Right. Yes. So this is a 31 city tour. Obviously, the United States has more than 31 places that are deserving of a trail running film festival.
But we are keeping a list as emails are coming in every day saying, hey, are you going to bring this to our city? And it ranges from Australia, Norway, other countries, but like Boston, a lot of people were like, hey, why didn't you come to Boston? And there were some big cities we just weren't able to hit, but smaller cities as well. And so we are compiling that list of different cities and see if we can try and make it work where we hit up cities we haven't gone to. So, and then going back to the ones too that
that worked really well. I mean, that's what I'm kind of excited for, is that if this is the first year, what's next year going to be like, and what's the year after that going to be like. So I'm really, really excited. What is the future goal with the film festival? Is it to go international, to go to 51 cities, to hit every state, or what's the bigger picture?
I'll let you answer that one. You're the vision.
The big picture for the film festival is, in general, very broad terms, is we want to promote the sport of trail running. We want to give a venue for all these great filmmakers and films that are coming out. 10 years ago, maybe you had one film or something a year. I mean, now there's numerous full-length films coming out, lots of short videos coming out, race videos all the time. I mean, there's so much really good stuff. The technology has improved quite a bit. The techniques, very few of the videos that you see these days are these bouncy GoPro things that make you sick. You know, if you see sick if you're watching them. The industry of trail running films is progressed so much that it's definitely deserving of a film festival. It's deserving of the spotlight. And so in general, we're trying to provide that. We're trying to do it, one, through this tour that we're on. Two, we want to do it through our website and social media. Like, we have 2.5 hours of films that we're going to be showing each night, but there's over 10 hours probably of really good stuff. We can't show them all. So we want to highlight through, posting on our Facebook page or through Twitter, somebody else's work that we can include. So we're trying to do that. We're trying to be kind of the home for all of that stuff, so filmmakers can send stuff to us, and so the general public can go to our website and see that stuff. We're trying to be that that support network, the hub. And another thing we want to do is through our website, we want to have a lot of DVDs for sale through our store. We want to have downloads for sale through our store. We want to have links to stuff that's not for sale. We want to be, if you're looking for a trail running video that you want to watch instantly or get in the mail to give as a Christmas present or whatever, we want you to come to trailfilmfest.com.
Trailfilmfest.com. Yes, please.
Just think of us as like the home for trail running movies. And then, so bringing all of that together into like one big celebration that happens annually, we want to do a multi-day in one city film festival.
This is what I'm excited about.
Like, like Banff Film Festival is a big role model of ours for this, and other international film festivals where you have multiple days, maybe even multiple venues, where you have hours and hours and hours of films you can go see, and you can pick and choose which one you want to go see. And we'll have an awards contest, for best picture, best soundtrack, best use of blood, and like
best ginger.
Best ginger category.
Thank you, Kim. Absolutely. Gnarliest trail, something, like lots of, an amateur awards contest, like for folks that just want to shoot their own thing, that don't normally do this, and there's so many professionals now too that I think they deserve the accolades. I think they, they're applying for their films to be shown at other international film festivals at Banff, and a few get picked up and a few get noticed, but I think we can make this really beneficial for everybody involved. And so we want to do more cities. We want to do more online than we're doing now. We want to do this multi-day festival we're talking about. We want to
let other cities host if you want. And again, more in detail in terms of hosts, like a city would, or a club or a store would do the booking and the promoting and do all the stuff, and then we would show up and
with
essentially the content and put it on.
Have raffles. You'd be doing raffles and giveaways too at all of the screenings.
Yeah. But they keep the ticket revenue, and they would just pay us a flat fee to
That's awesome.
come. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because at all of our shows, so we're doing 31 shows, and all of them but 2, we are doing the booking, we're doing the advertising, we're dealing with the local sponsors, we're dealing with everything. We're taking the tickets, and that's good and great. Like, we don't mind doing it. We're getting really good at it. But there's also just some places where most places, the locals know how to advertise their event better than we do.
Yeah, every night people say, this theater would have been great, or you should reach out to this store or this club that maybe we just didn't know about. And so
yeah, I mean, as the first year, it's the learning experience.
It is, very much so.
And as you grow and as you plan for next year, all of those things will get worked out. And when you started talking about the multi-day, like, weekend festival, that really got me excited, because as a filmmaker, before I even started trail running, it was, it's always your dream to go to Sundance, right? It's always your dream to submit and go to Cannes or one of those festivals that's like so far out of your league. But then also growing up and watching all of the Miller ski films with McConkey and the mountain bike films, and going to those festivals and seeing those things. Why doesn't trail running have one? I know that there are film festivals out there that do feature trail running content, but I think the sport is growing at such a rate, and filmmaking itself is also becoming much more accessible for those who are just grabbing a GoPro and going out and filming some epic journey or some amazing mountain summit or something. I'm really excited to kind of see where this goes, and I'm really excited to have you guys at the forefront, because you're such good people and you know what you're doing. Kim, I know that there's a number of questions in the channel.
Yeah, CTAM79 asks, are there any specific criteria for these films to meet when submitting?
So yeah, I'll answer that one. Thanks for the question. We have not determined all that stuff yet. I think what we're going to end up doing is probably borrowing a lot from what Banff does and a few other festivals. Obviously, like Banff is such a big time. They've been doing it for, I think, over 25 years.
Long time.
We're probably not going to charge to submit like they do. Like, our requirements are going to be not as stringent, but we're going to have a timeline for when you submit. We're going to have certain file requirements, and stay tuned.
There's been people asking, is this going to be a yearly thing? By the sounds of it,
definitely yearly. Maybe even seasonally. I'm starting to think that at least in the beginning, so many filmmakers are kind of on their own schedules, and for us, we're hoping that one day we're such big shots that everybody makes their schedules fit our schedule for our festival. But there's going to be a transition, I think, and so there's some really good films that are coming out. Like, there's the Barkley film that features the Barkley Marathon's one of the hardest 100-milers in the world. That one's right now touring the big film festivals. It just won an award at the Austin International Film Festival. It won another award somewhere else, I think, just really recently. That film's going to come out soon to the general public. But if we're not going to do another tour like we're doing right now until next fall, then it might not work for our tour, and we might miss it. So maybe we'll do a mini tour in the spring, and then there's like Finding Traction, which we've been showing the preview for that one since the very beginning, and that one's going to premiere in February. Yeah, and it's like, well, how do we make this work?
And Altering Expectations, the film with Kim on her first 50K.
We're gonna have a whole tour on Altering Expectations. Altering Expectations 2014.
I'm sorry, babe. This is gonna be dry evening for.
I'm gonna tour around in person and give like a live dry heave to get things started.
James is not into that. There was no reaction out of James on that. He just looked at you, and
I'm just thinking practical. I'm like, Ethan, when's it gonna be ready?
It's nearly there. It's nearly there. And like a part of me was like,
this is a vague answer.
Yeah. Nearly there.
You're not gonna commit yourself.
No. Because I made that mistake with the Squamish 50/50. On the Squamish 50/50 trailer, I released that trailer and was like, oh, it's gonna be on Tuesday, whatever it was. And it literally it ruined my life for a week and a half.
It's so hard.
It's hard. Because then when you finish it, you're like, oh, it's done. Oh, fuck, it's not done. And then you spend 3 more days sitting at your computer for 24 hours just trying to figure it out. So I didn't put a date on this. It will be very soon. Kim knows. She's been watching me edit all day and for multiple days. I'm really excited to release it.
Wait, what is Altering Expectations? I think everybody probably watching knows that.
Yeah.
You want to go into that one?
If Kim was an amazing sport. She has been running now for how many years, babe?
Just over 4.
Yeah, just over 4 years, has been increasing her mileage, increasing her goals, and finally signed up for her first ultra marathon, 50K, and it was a Rainshadow Running inaugural event. It was the Oregon Coast 50K.
Yeah, our most recent race.
Most recent race.
Back in October.
And it basically was one of those that popped up on the calendar that Kim was like, you know what? This actually sounds appealing. The elevation doesn't sound terrible.
Right.
The scenery is going to be epic. I grew up going to the Oregon
I
Coast
sold it
every
as
summer.
easy,
Yeah, you sold it as easy compared to other Rainshadow events.
which everybody should realize by now. Every time we have a first-year event, I tell everyone it's going to be easy.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not easy.
It never is.
It never is.
When I say it's easy, it's not.
Even if the elevation number, like the total elevation gain, is 4,000 or
Right.
5,000 feet,
Well, it's
That's
gotta
gonna be
easy,
all at
right?
once.
It's only 4,000 feet of elevation.
It's gonna-
It's gotta be.
it's gonna be
It's not
one.
in the first 6 miles, for
Right.
sure.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's on
And it's
sand.
not the last few, for sure.
Even 20-mile-an-hour headwinds in rain.
I can't wait. I can't wait to show this film because it'll give an idea of just how difficult the race was.
But
It was
also how
beautiful.
beautiful.
And- oh, no, it's gorgeous. Totally gorgeous. So Kim signed up for this race and planned and trained and did everything that she needed to do leading up to it. And it was kind of one of those experiences that, I mean, we talked about it after the race recap, where I, as a filmmaker, am trying to document everything that she's going through, but at the same time, as a fiance, I'm
Still
trying to
still
comfort
remain
her.
engaged to each other.
Yeah, trying to remain engaged. So,
But you guys did have like a mile, right? Where
it was.
It felt like
Kim was
all
about
day.
to call it off.
It
Were you
felt
that
like
There
all
were
day.
2 or 3 miles. Kim was like, "This whole race has been terrible." I'm like, babe, it's been a quarter of a mile. A quarter of a
I
mile
used
has
to
been
be
terrible.
crying like, it felt like that.
But when you're hurting, I mean,
Yeah.
time changes when
Yeah.
you're hurting.
Totally.
Time is totally different.
So I'm just really excited to share the experience, just because it's everyone who runs an ultra marathon, their first one, it's just going to be dramatic. It doesn't matter if you're trained and everything goes well. In your mind, it's just the experience is going to be big. So my
It's
job is
ultra.
to try to. It's ultra. It's going to be ultra big. So my job is just to try to document Kim's, and I'm going to do my best to edit it together and share that with you. But at the same point, it's like, as a filmmaker, I want to make something that's really epic that I can submit to a film festival, such as the Trail Running Film Festival. I guess that, so you, by doing it seasonally, is your goal. So I try to post race videos all the time.
Yeah.
But now I'm almost thinking, all these bigger ones I should hold off and submit for a film festival.
Well, that's
So why would I
the
release
race
it?
directors.
Yeah,
They
totally.
wanted it as soon as possible.
Right.
Yeah, that's a tough decision. I mean, maybe what you do is you have multiple edits, right? Just like a pop
There you go.
song. You know, you have your edit for the rock station. You have your
Yeah.
edit for the country station. You know, it's you can have a version that you get out. You have a version that you get out as soon as possible. You have a longer version that's maybe more theater, tells more of the backstory, or whatever. Yeah, I think you can take the footage from one event and make multiple uses out of it. And
That's not a bad idea. That's pretty smart.
and also, I mean, yeah, it's hard. I mean, who knows what we'll do? We have been so busy with what we're doing right now that we keep saying like, oh, okay, next week we're going to be able to start planning 2015. It's like, we're still not there yet. So maybe we'll only do one big tour, just like we're doing this year.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we did a 2-week tour in the spring and a 6-week tour in the fall. Or maybe we'll do little mini tours where we fly into New England and we hit all of the cities in New England and towns and hit a couple of races. And then fly to Australia and hit a bunch of towns in Australia. If you want to pay for our plane ticket, we'll fly to
And the transfer of the truck too, right? Like you have to bring the truck.
And then, we're trying to brainstorm other ways to make it work where maybe we're not there. Maybe we have regional MCs. Maybe we have digital downloads that aren't, you just watch it at home. Like we have to figure out the rights with all the filmmakers. We have to figure out the money of it all. Like it has to work. It's a lot of time and energy. It definitely hasn't been easy doing this, but we've really liked doing it. I mean,
What's been the biggest challenge? Because as a race director, you're used to basically dealing with challenges up until race start. What has been the biggest challenge with the film festival so far?
I feel like these are going to be two very different answers.
Two very, yeah, no, you can
Gretchen,
have
you answer and I'll answer.
I'll go the driving when we have 8 to 9 hours of driving and literally have to roll up to the theater, pull it out. People might be at the door.
right away.
But also pulling into these large cities like Washington, D.C. Oh my goodness.
During rush hour.
During rush hour, trying to
Running
find parking
late.
for a huge truck.
Yeah.
Running
Our
late.
truck doesn't fit in parking garages.
No.
Oh.
No. So, yeah, I would say some of those long drives that, yeah, if we were to do this again, like just either give ourselves a little bit more time or, you know, just have cities closer together. I don't know. But the long drives, I would say, are the biggest challenge. And then rolling up. And
Is there a reason you guys are
Right.
driving rather than flying? I mean, obviously, the cost prohibitive. I'm sure flying is
Yeah.
extremely expensive, but you're able to kind of pull everything off of a laptop, I'm assuming, or mostly digital?
We do mostly showing them on Blu-ray discs. Showing them off a laptop's kind of the backup plan.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we could totally fly. That's definitely an option. And
More expensive.
And Gary Harrington from Colorado Springs does this kind of thing for other types of outdoor recreation movies, like
Okay.
bike movies and other stuff. And he's done a few running movie tours. But we stayed with him. He came to our Colorado show. Like he was like, "Well, I just fly into an area, rent a car, and hit all the cities around there, and then go back home in like a week or two, And yeah, that's maybe what we'll do throughout the year. We'll do 1 or 2 week little mini tours spread out throughout the entire year.
Yeah.
For me, I don't mind the drive that much. The stress, I think, what makes it hard. The long drive is definitely hard to be in the car, and we'd love to be out running instead of being cooped up in the car all day.
Yeah.
But the stress of like showing up to a venue and just not knowing, like, we've never been to this venue before. Like, who are these people that we're working with? What kind of equipment do they have? Is our Blu-ray gonna play in their machine?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what's the sound gonna be like? Where, how big is their lobby? Like, like last night we were in San Francisco. They're like, yeah, you can sell beer in our lobby, and everybody can hang out and drink beer before the movie. And we're like, great, wonderful. The lobby's like the size of this room.
It can hold like
for
10 people.
240 people.
Oh my God.
They're like, ah!
Oh no.
But they were able to bend the rules, and we were able to figure out a solution that worked.
They were
But
great.
yeah, there's just a lot of details that are up in the air until you arrive. And so I think the stress of not knowing how the show's going to go and how everything's going to work out, that's the hardest thing. I think once the show, I have stage fright. So for me, like, I'm a little bit, that's another hard part, is like being up on stage, but I'm getting used to it. I mean, I've done
so many so far.
Getting a little more
Has it been getting
comfortable.
easier for you?
It's good.
Yeah, it definitely. Having been through the same thing early in my career, it's like you get to the point where you're like, all right, I get it. It's the same thing. All I have to do is deliver the same lines and say the same thing. That people their faces might be different, but it gets a little bit easier.
Right.
What's been like the best thing from this?
The people, for sure.
Definitely, like, again, back on the Washington, D.C. show, like, that was just a day, I don't know, I rolled out of bed on the wrong side. I was super tired. I just wasn't, and I will say, backing up in regards to driving, there's been some amazing drives, and I do love road trips. So there's some days that I'm totally into it. But again, that was just one of those days where it's just super stressful. But then once we're there and set up and these people start showing up and they're super enthusiastic and excited and just, you start having conversations with them, it just totally melts away as to what the stress is. And I mean, their reactions too, just coming out super, super inspired, super positive. Each show is just, whether it's been a smaller show or a sellout like last night, it's been so much fun. So yeah, definitely the people have been.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, totally. To just roll off of that same answer is, I think one of my favorite things is just the reactions to people in the crowd to certain moments in certain films. Like there's the oohs and ahs when the Gorge Waterfalls video is on, and you hit the big Aloha Falls. Just like people are like, holy cow,
That fall is amazing.
And then the Mountain Marathon, the 2013 Mountain Marathon race. Ricky Gates falls and like dislocates his shoulder, and the whole. I mean, it's just where you hear like almost every single person in the seats have the same reaction. It's just that's you know, like the film festival is working. Like they're not just sitting there bored and falling asleep. Like, what do you guys do when you have to go to the bathroom?
Do you have to go to the bathroom?
I'm gonna have to, like,
what a transition though. It's like, it's so subtle. So you have three. You have one in there, you have one in there,
All right.
one
Well, I
in
don't want to go that way because
Go
unless
for
people
it.
have to get up.
Yeah.
Sorry, audience. I'm not trying to disrupt the show.
I was like, during the festival.
I drink a lot of water on the road.
No, yeah, the road trip plus the beer probably acid. Gretchen, are you okay?
I'm good.
All right, she's
I'm
on
good.
that. That was the best segue though. Just like, you know, the festival's great and like the reactions. I need to go pee, so if I could just do that, that'd be great. It was awesome. I think it's a great chance to probably touch base with the chat room because they've been talking up a storm.
Your good friend Chris Vargo has been in. He just wanted to pop in and say hello.
Hello,
But
Vargo.
He needs to leave. I think he needs to get to sleep. Also, fellow BC guy Matt Cecil, who I think
Oh, yeah.
videos for you guys.
Project Hilaria.
He wanted you guys to know that your Skyline Rim 50K video is ready.
Let James know.
I wanted to actually give a shout out to the Project Hilaria guys because with Rainshadow Running Races, I've only done a couple of their races and they're epic. They're epic, and I can't wait to run more in 2015, which is already on my calendar. But the Project Hilaria guys have been running Rainshadow races for a long time.
For quite some time.
Quite some time. And creating race videos for those kind of recaps of the whole experience. I remember talking to one of the guys. It wasn't Matt. It was the other guy. What's his name? Dave.
Yes.
And he would mention to me that he ran Angel Staircase, or he was just going to come and film Angel Staircase. Ended up running the whole thing with a Steadicam, which is, if you're in filmmaking, you know that a Steadicam it's heavy. It's 10, 15, 20 pounds with your camera plus the weights on the bottom. He just kind of started off to run a little bit and film some people, but then ran the whole course with it. In my mind, I'm going, I can't even fathom that.
Those guys are amazing. What's pretty cool is we actually ran a race in Georgia, Sky to Summit.
Yes.
And those guys were there to film it. And so we actually got to, hear. How are you?
I can concentrate on my questions and answers now.
Yeah, but
We're just talking about Project Hilaria. Good
Okay.
guys.
Matt is in the chat room.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
He was also an incredible ultra runner. Just I was on. You won Fat Dog 100, which is actually 120 miles.
Yeah.
That's an course record, didn't he? Something like that this last year. Matt, let us know.
Matt, tell us something.
Yeah, sure. Matt, correct me if I'm
Also
wrong.
got third place at the Gorge Waterfalls 100K.
Yes, which is in the 100K
In the video.
Ginger Runner video. He's in there laying on the ground. He's basically like done, fried. He ran his ass off for third place.
Speaking of the Gorge 100K, somebody was in the chat room asking if it will ever potentially go to lottery.
Yep. Yeah, this year, it's not yet sold out, as far as we know.
The 100K, right?
Yeah,
50K.
100K was the question.
Right. So the 100K, we basically have the same runner limit as the 50K. It's only in its second year this year, so it's less popular. Plus, usually the longer the race, the less people you get willing to do it. The 50K, we had 700 people apply for 300 spots.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
So I think it's just a matter of time, though, before the 100. Most of the Rainshadow running races, so lotteries, there's pros and cons with lotteries. I'll go into race director mode for a minute. Lotteries exist for a few different reasons. Basically, a race becomes so popular that when folks go to sign up, if you're not there at your computer at the minute the race registration opens, then you're out of luck. And it also can crash the servers, and it just doesn't seem very equitable. A lot of people have to work, like they're not race directors.
What if you're also dealing with international? I dealt with the same thing with the buff issue. Is when people who live in Denmark or something, they're
different
10 hours different.
Time
So
zone. Yeah.
that screws them over.
So with the lottery, you can set everybody can apply over a week period or a month period or whatever, and it gives everybody a chance to have a shot. But the drawbacks are that people that don't get in the lottery are like, well, I would have been on my computer for that 1 minute that the registration was open because I really wanted to be in it. All these other people maybe don't care as much as I do. So there's drawbacks, there's pluses and minuses. Plus the lottery is a little more difficult to manage. It's easier for us as race directors as long as the servers don't crash. which Ultra Sign Up is great. They've figured out a solution to that. Servers shouldn't crash anymore. But yeah, so our races are just getting more and more popular. And so a lot of them are going to go from being a regular registration to a lottery.
It's the way it has to be. I mean, signing up for Gorge last year and seeing the popularity of it this year, and it's just going to grow. I mean, any race where you run by 15 waterfalls behind some, I mean, it's like completely
over,
epic.
under, behind,
all over. It's just one of those things that people are going to want to take part in.
And we can only take so many people.
Exactly.
The one of the waterfalls that we run past is the most popular place to visit in all of Oregon. So it gets a lot of Multnomah, which is the second largest waterfall in the United States. And yeah, I mean, there's like 4 or 5 other ones that are super popular, and you have tourists that are walking up from their car the quarter mile or the mile up to the waterfalls and back down again. And so there's already a lot of people on those trails, and then you bring in a few hundred runners, and that's like the maximum that the Forest Service wants to allow. That's the maximum that us as race directors want to allow. That's the maximum as people who care about the trails and care about people's trail experience. Like, we don't want tourists to go home. We don't want runners in the race to go home upset that it was just this big mess and there was just too many people. There's a few trail races out there around the country that are around the world that can take like 1,000 people. But it's not necessarily the best thing, I think, for the trails and for the running community and for the trail community and for the environment. It's like, I think you need to find for each race, for each location, what the right number is. And for most of our races, 200 to 300 is that number. You know, we might have 700 people that want to do Gorge Waterfalls 50K, but we'll never be able to take 700 people. So lottery is just...
That's just an overwhelming crowd too. When you start dealing with that number of people running on a trail race, you're dealing with all sorts of
you have long
negatives.
Backups, you know, like you're just walking for the first few miles, so everybody gets spread out, you know. And then the finish line, it's not this intimate thing where everybody knows each other and hangs out.
One of my favorite parts about your races is the finish line atmosphere.
Yeah,
it's nice and intimate. And
Oregon Coast is a great example. I got it on film. It'll be in there, but there's a little beer garden where people can hang out and drink beer. You can eat pizza, but you can also go talk to James, who's standing there tallying down numbers and, you know, high-fiving people at the finish line. Like, there's none of this segregation between finishers and you go up to some corral. You know, there's none of that. It's like, it's a family. Congratulations, you finished. Come join us. You know, come hang out with us. There's a question in the chat room from Professor, I missed it already, Professor something, asking, are you guys athletic? So that's a great question. Let's start with Gretchen. We talked a little bit before the show. You did a 50-miler or some ultra just a couple months ago.
My first 50-miler was Sun Mountain back in May. So yeah, Rainshadow Running, and I loved it. Actually, my parents came out. They were my crew.
Awesome.
No, it was a great experience. So yeah, I think I did all right. So I guess I'd call myself athletic. Did another 50K or 50-miler, beginning of October in California, and that one was a little bit more challenging. I found your guys' weather, you know, just the mid-80s.
I was gonna say, did you get hot? Oh,
yeah,
you're not acclimated.
Melted, yeah. So about midway
destroys.
through the race, the wheels just came off, and he actually, James paced me the last like 19 miles, and it was one of those where, all right, I'm gonna walk from that ribbon to that tree, you know, and it was like a shuffle, and then it was walk. Okay, so, I mean, I just started going with the ultras, but I've been running for a long time. Did a lot of road running and racing before I discovered the trails, and now I'm converted. I'm hooked.
I feel like I've got the consensus, and that same. People say the same thing when they email me or any of the people who follow Ginger Runner. They say, "Oh, you know, I used to be a road runner, and I saw your trail running films or whatever, and I started running trails, and I'll never go back." That is the most common thing I get, is that once they start running trails, they're like, I'm hooked. I'm done. I'm in. What about you, James? You just did Quad Dipsy, by the way. 2 days ago. Right? The Quad Dipsy, for those of you who don't know, it's a 28-mile run with 10,000?
Almost 10,000 feet a game.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Unbelievable. And it's not like it's rolling hills. It's fucking climbing, fucking descending. And I'm using the F word lightly. I mean, it's hard. It's a hard race.
Yeah.
You have to pee again?
I know, I'm good. I'm definitely focusing on this answer.
So, you've done ultras. I'm not saying that quad dipsy is the first thing you've done. You've done ultras for, you told me, decades.
13 years, yeah.
So
2 decades.
over a decade, yeah, almost 2 decades.
Well, I guess technically.
I followed you this most recent soft rock. You were kind of like
Hard rock.
but you were doing the soft rock, right? Or
Well, I was crewing for friends.
But you've done
I was
hard
helping
rock.
them.
help with soft rock. So you've been not only at like the easier ultras and done really, really well, or like a 28-mile, 10,000 feet of elevation quad dipsy, but you've also done hard rock and some of the most intense hard ultras on the planet. So yeah, I would say you're athletic. What's been one of your favorite race experiences? I mean, that's a really tough
like
question to
favorite
answer.
races or a favorite experience during a race?
Let's say both. Let's say both.
Well,
I'm sure there's
okay, the
very
first one's
different.
easy. It's hard rock. By far and away, the best race for scenery, best race that I've ever been a part of, either as a crew, a runner, volunteer for the challenge.
Okay.
And the best, organized race. The people that are there are so much fun. The volunteers are great. All the runners are great. The people in towns are great. So Hard Rock's this 100-miler. For those of you that don't know, it's in Colorado every summer. It's at high altitude. It has a lot of elevation gain. It's just in these beautiful mountains, and everything about it is wonderful. And I really shouldn't be telling you guys this because it's also a lottery. It's really hard to get into. So the more people that apply, it makes it less likely that I'll get in.
I mean, they have to qualify. It's not like
They have to qualify.
it's not
You
like
have to
anyone
do
can just-
other really tough mountain
Really tough.
100s
Yeah.
to qualify, not just any 100, because that'd be too easy.
No, it'd be too easy.
Yeah. So you have to do a hard mountain 100 to qualify for Hard Rock, and then you have to make it through the lottery, and then you have to make it to the finish line. And, so it's great. It's wonderful. But my favorite running experience ever was on the very first 100-miler that I did, which is the Plain 100, which takes place in Washington State.
Also, by the way, one of the hardest ultra marathons on the planet as well, as rated by numerous sources, and basically everyone I've talked to that's done Plain 100, it's nearly impossible. No aid stations, or like
right.
2.
There's one drop bag station.
There's one drop bag station.
No aid station.
You have no access to any sort of rescue or anything like that. You are out in the middle, kind of. But like,
you keep going. Keep going. Sorry.
but like you're in the middle. You're in the middle of the Cascades in Washington State on your own. You're essentially they basically just say, "All right, go." You start, and then you're on your own for 100 miles.
The course isn't marked.
No marks.
There's no aid station. There's no pacers.
That's your first 100.
Normally they don't let people do it as their first 100.
It sounds
I was able. The race directors are really nice people, and they're hardcore, and they wanted to create a race that was different than all the other 100-milers. So most 100-milers, you have an aid station like every 5 miles,
Right.
and the course is really well marked, and there's glow sticks, and you're allowed to have a pacer like hold your hand the whole way, and which is all great. There's really good things about that stuff. Like I
just picked up a pacer for the North Face 50-miler this weekend, and as soon as you said that, I went, "Oh my god, I'm a pussy." I'm a giant little baby.
No, it's every race is different, and if they allow pacers, then it's really great to have them. It really helps. Like
Let's just Plain 100, and
I
you are
love to
just a
pace people at
badass.
races.
Wow.
So Plain, I was able to get an exemption to the no rookie rule. I lived in the area and I trained in mountains very close by that were actually a little harder, and on trails that were more difficult. And I would just go out with a backpack with like some food that I didn't have to cook and maybe a sleeping bag.
Just survive.
No tent. I would go out for the whole weekend, and I
Wow.
would run until I got tired, and I would sleep like in a marmot hole, and like, get up and run the next day. And,
Unbelievable.
yeah, and then so the race directors had like these training runs. So the Plain 100's it's like a figure 8 course, and so they break up the race into 2 parts, and they do training runs on those parts. I don't think they do it anymore. They used to in the old days, and you could go out and do the training run with them and learn the course. And so I went out. I was going to do the training run with them, but I lived about an hour's drive away.
Okay.
And I didn't have a car. And I didn't know anybody because I was kind of still new to the sport. I think it was only been doing ultras for 2 or 3 years. And so I was going to bike there. And I just thought it would only take like 2 hours for some reason. But it took like over 3 hours.
Yeah.
And so by the time I got there, they'd already started without me. And I might have also got a flat tire.
Oh my God!
I was
like
way behind. And in the end, I ended up catching up to them on the big loop and passing them and like beating them by like 3 hours. And I'm like, yeah, you'll be fine. So we're supposed to be talking about my great experience at my very first 100 miler. So
I haven't heard any of the story. That's why I had to preface.
It's a long story.
But
how many hours do we have?
We can go into post show here at any point. But when you said playing 100, I had to preface that because you can't just say, "Oh, my first 100 was playing 100, and I had a really great experience. It was really great." It's like playing 100 is a hardcore hard rock. It just doesn't deal with the altitude, I guess, but it's still like
it has
that's
like
insane.
23, 24, 25,000 feet of elevation gain on rugged mountain trails out in the middle of nowhere in the North Cascades of Washington.
Just nuts.
So I was leading the race basically from mile 10 to till the drop bag station at mile 55 to 60, depending on whose mileage you believe. And as I was leaving that aid station, 2 other runners came running in, and all along throughout the day, I just kind of been running my own race. I had no intentions to win the race, but I was just running what felt like to me the right speed. But then after leading the race for like 40 miles all day long, when you finally see 2 runners, you're like, I'm not going to let them catch me.
Yeah,
so I go sprinting out of the aid station, and playing is basically 3 massive climbs. And the last one, you start after that drop back station, and the sun goes down, it gets dark, I'm going up this last climb, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And all I'm trying to do is run as fast as I can without running too fast.
Without giving it all up.
Right, without blowing up, so I want to win this thing. So, but I don't want to go too slow and get caught by these guys.
Of course.
And so I'm listening very carefully to my heart rate, to my breathing. It's dark out. All I can see is what my headlamp is showing on the ground. I'm just making sure I eat and drink, precisely enough to not bonk or cramp or do any of the stupid things that I've done in all the other races I've ever ran. And I'm just running at that point like the perfect race. I'm going like the perfect speed up this mountain, and like hours are going by, and I'm just like doing a mix of running and walking, going up this steep mountain, and I just start feeling really, really good. Like I eventually feel like I'm invincible. I have this euphoria, and I feel like I could run this speed forever. I'm really happy. It's just this great moment of bliss. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like being in the zone. I just felt like I had everything else in the world had fallen away except for my heart rate, my breathing, just the bare essentials of winning this race. And so for a few hours, it was just this, I think, like a really intense meditative state where I was just so focused on my own body and the present moment that I attained this really amazing thing. And out of the middle of nowhere, I'm like running, and I cross this forest road, and there's this car parked there. And out of this car that's parked there, get the 2 race directors. And like I've been running all day by myself. It's probably like almost mile 80 now, and I've ran alone since mile 10. So like for at that point, 16, 17, 18 hours running through the mountains alone in a race, leading the race, like 20 some hours into the race itself. And they get out of the car and like, James, you're doing great. What a wonderful job. And I'm like almost crying. Yeah. I'm like so elated. I'm like having such a great race. I'm thanking them so much. And eventually, like, you got to get out of here. Like you've been here for a long time. Like, get out of here. Stop telling us how great we are and keep running. So I kept running, and I'm going to leave the story at that. You can go to my blog, VarnerMiles.com, and see how the rest of that story ends.
The best cliffhanger ever. You've got to go to his blog to hear how the rest of it ends. I don't want to spoil
a little
anything.
teaser is that, of course, nothing that great can last forever. So, yes.
Unbelievable.
What happens.
Well, we're going to wrap up the main
Yeah,
show.
that's a good idea.
We're going to move into the post show. I think that's awesome. I'm going to ask both of these yahoos right here what's next for them, what's coming up on their race calendar, what's up with the Trail Running Film Fest. We'll talk more about it in the post show. So stick around for that. We're just going to move right on into it. Before we do that, of course, I want to make sure that we shout out Kimberley Teshima, aka Mile Long Legs. Kim, where can they find you on social media?
Facebook.com/MileLongLegs, Instagram @KimberleyDT, KimberleyDT, and MileLongLegs.com.
Do it. Gretchen, where can people find you?
Filmfestgretchen@gmail.com. My email, anything.
Or
There it is. I don't
at the next show.
At the next show.
Oh yeah, at the next show, LA tomorrow night. Don't want to miss it. And James, of course, let's get the website, your Twitter, everything. Rainshadow, everything.
Yeah, Rainshadowrunning.com. If you go there, you can find all of our social media links. My personal blog, which I blog rarely, varnermiles.com. Trailfilmfest.com for all the trail film festival stuff. Stay tuned for future projects such as a music festival, outdoor summertime camp out music festival with outdoor recreation, including trail running, thrown in and done in a way
This is all new to
no one
me.
has ever done before.
How can you drop this now at the end of the show?
Cliffhangers.
Yeah, cliffhangers. We'll talk about it in the
Hashtag
show.
cliffhangers.
Yeah. And of course, where can they find you on Twitter and stuff like that?
I don't know.
At Rainshadow Run, at Trail Film Fest.
Yeah.
I believe is what it is. Yeah. Or Trail Film.
Trail Run Film.
Trail Run Film is what it is.
is our Twitter one.
Yeah.
Or hashtag Trail Film Fest.
Hashtags are always good. So that's it for the main show, guys. I think the post show is going to be just as good as the main show. So stick around for that. We're going to continue to drink our beer, maybe even dig into some pizza and play with the dog, who's been sitting on Kim's lap for the last 5 minutes. Adorable. You guys are amazing for sticking around and watching the live shows. Stay in the chat room. Ask the question that you need to ask. You can follow me on all the social networks as well. On Twitter, it's @TheGingerRunner. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/TheGingerRunner, TheGingerRunner.com. You guys know everything. All right, we'll see you guys every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Next week will be a North Face 50-mile race recap. Hopefully, there will be some guest appearances by the winners.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. You know, I'm gonna win for like most middle. But we might. I'm gonna try to do my best to get some of the top elites, both men and female, on the show. They're gonna be in San Francisco, where it's gonna be a party. I can't wait. So stick around for the post show, and then tune in next week at Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll see you guys in the post show.
Bye, everybody.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yay.
Wow.
Can they still hear us if we're talking?
Yes. But like, I don't tell anybody because I don't care. I don't care if anything comes through. Thank you guys for tuning in live. We're now just kind of in the post show, just to hang out. If you have any questions, ask them now. There was a number of questions.
Let's answer some questions.
Let's just scroll up here. People are really curious how they can get you to come to their city next year. That bribe. I mean, is there an email that they can contact?
Trailfilmfest@gmail.com, right?
Yes.
Trailfilmfest@gmail.com is our main email for everything. It'll go to both of us and Matt and Carrie. We all see it. We won't lose you.
So get it to the right person. Yeah.
In general, there's a lot of different criteria for us choosing a city. Number one, we want it to be fun. This is a lot of work.
So
Just
if
like
you
with
live
our
in a lame city.
If you live in a lame
lame cities can be fun. No. I mean, with our races, the races are so much work. I don't pick a location unless it's going to be fun. I don't come up with a course unless it's going to be fun. Same with our shows. Like we just want this to be fun. We want it to be good for everybody involved. So no matter where you are, let's talk and try to figure out how to make it work. But for us, for planning purposes, for what we've picked so far, is we need a large number of people that we feel pretty certain will show up so we can cover the costs of renting the venue.
Would you say like 100 people? 50 to 100?
Well, we were saying 150 was what we were kind of shooting for.
Okay.
Some venues, 100 will pay the bills. Other places like New York City, we need a lot more.
Sure. Yeah, that
because
makes sense.
Venues vary in
Same with
price.
LA,
We've had a venue that cost like $500, and we had a venue that cost almost $5,000.
Yeah, Salt Lake City was $250. It was a great
Ruby's,
place.
really cool place.
Yeah, that served beer, served food, and
Wow.
it was a great find. But and again, we were tipped off by locals that said, "Hey, try this theater."
I think that's
other
the key.
criteria is, other than a large number of people that are going to be interested, is a really cool space. Running movies traditionally have been shown either at your house or at your local running store, and those both are really cool and they're great and they're going to continue to keep happening. What we're trying to do is something bigger and better and be in a really nice movie theater. That's our ideal, is to have a nice, especially independent movie theater where it's not this sterile environment, where it has character, where it's really beautiful, where the employees are really excited that we're there.
Yeah.
And almost required is that they serve beer. If they don't already serve beer at the venue, it's a lot of trouble to get the permission to sell beer or even give away beer at these places. And as most of you in the audience know, trail runners love beer. And we all, 4 of us here, love beer. And so it's kind of part of our deal is we want beer at the show. So you need enough people to make it work financially. You need a cool venue, and you need beer. And if you get 2 out of the 3, then maybe we can make it work. But if you've only got 1, it might not happen.
Can I also add though too, like some I call them champions, people in the city that are go-getters. I mean, we've had certain cities where it's either been a sponsor or just a person that is really well connected, really excited.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're just getting the word out nonstop. They're helping us promote, which is huge. So when we have, I have people again emailing every day say, come to our city, but
we need more help than that.
I was gonna say it's easier said than done.
It's so easier said than done. So if we have somebody that's
tell us where to go.
Tell us where to go.
Tell us who to talk to.
Yeah.
What running stores are the coolest? Which ones focus on trail running?
Yeah.
Give us the name of your local trail running club, or help us spread the word to your friends. Those kinds of things.
My viewers are super savvy. Those of you who are watching, or even watching in like a later date, you guys know exactly what they're talking about. If you live in a city and you want the film festival to come to you, or you want James and Gretchen to come to you for whether it's the film festival this year or next year or the year after that or anything like that, you know exactly what they're talking about. Either you know a local running club or talk to a local running store that specifies in trail running. Talk to them. Find the easier job you can make it for them, they'll come.
The more likely we'll be.
The more likely you'll get.
And the more likely it'll be successful, and we'll come back.
Yeah.
And more likely everybody's gonna have fun. Another thing that we haven't talked about at all is outdoor. So we have the capability of also doing outdoor shows, and we would love to pair up with races, especially in the summertime. We'd love to try to figure out how to make that work too. We're not necessarily summertime, but places where it's warmer, you'd actually want to be outside in the winter. Seattle, 9 o'clock at night in the winter is not probably the place, but maybe LA.
Who knows?
This time of year, 7 o'clock.
There's people already like, hey, you should check out this venue in blank city.
Send us an email.
No, I was gonna say, you contact the venue. Just say, hey, listen, I know a film festival that wants to come to town. Just get some details and let these guys know. That's way that's a 3 or 4 steps ahead of the game, and that's going to help their job. It's going to make it so much more easier and more likely to get to them.
The more information that's in the email, just saying, okay, this venue, these running clubs, this and that, and also too, some people saying, I'm willing to do this, and again, that's where it might turn into somebody hosting the film fest. Like if they really want to, if they're go-getters, and we've had some great go-getters on this tour. Then
you can pay us a fee to show up, and then you keep all the rest of the money.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So or in between that is, if you just do a little bit of help spreading the word, send out a few emails, post to certain running clubs, we can give you a free ticket to the show, something like that. Like if you just want to help get the word out, because you don't want to do all the other work, let us know that you want to be our promoter person, and we'll get you and a friend in the show for free or something.
What I like that you guys are doing is you're thinking bigger picture. I mean, yes, there's definitely this idea of let's have a film festival, let's have a trail running film festival. But not only that, but you're also touring it to almost, you know, a majority of the cities around the country, or let's say larger cities around major metropolitan areas. That's already the second beer, and it's already kicking in. But you have the much bigger picture of having like the weekend and having a much bigger film festival. I really like that. As a filmmaker and as someone who runs trails and is constantly trying to come up with new ideas to create engaging content, I like that there is a place where I can be like, here's my latest film, or here's a film idea that I'm working on. Is it something that we can get into a future festival, or can I submit it here or do this? I love it. I love it. I think you guys need to continue to do what you're doing, and anything I can do to help. Yeah, any filmmakers out there that are watching right now and listening, there's a lot. Let us know how we can help you get your films out. This is not all about us. You know, this is about promoting the sport. This is about promoting the industry of trail running filmmaking. You know, we want the films to keep getting better. You know, if there's a way we can facilitate knowledge share between filmmakers, we're all for it. We want to be the home for trail running films in all kinds of different ways. And so yeah, filmmakers, send us your ideas. Let us know when your films are going to be coming out. Let us know, you know, like what kind of timelines work for you. Let us know like how much advance notice you want to know before we you know, set a deadline for submissions. And yeah, and if you're curious for ideas, I have ideas for films. If you are like, I'm a filmmaker, but I can't figure out what the heck I want to shoot, let me know. I've got ideas for that too. And we can also critique your films too before you release them. I mean, we watch almost every night of the week. We're watching over a dozen films, and I know what works really well. I know what doesn't, and I mean, and it's just my opinion. But you know, if you want my opinion on these things, I'll gladly give you some feedback on your film before you send it out to the public.
Right. And on that note, I mean, we know it gets the crowd's reaction, and we know, I mean, people come out and say what it is that they really love or their favorite film and this and that. And so, you know, realizing what people are really, really after. And also too, it's interesting having some of our friends and family that are non-trail runners come out to the films and tell us what works, they were connecting with. It's really interesting.
And I think in general, we want eventually the film festival to branch out where the general, I mean, like Banff, you know, these rock climbing movies and these mountain bike movies, I think are getting a wider audience. They're not just getting mountain bikers and rock climbers in the seats to watch those movies. They're getting more people because they're adrenaline, they're exciting. But most trail running films, there's some excitement, there's some adrenaline, but mostly it's like this human interest story. And such a wide variety of people can identify with that and get excited about it and inspired by it. I mean, you don't have to be a runner to come to the Trail Running Film Festival and watch these movies. You don't have to be a trail runner. I mean, so I think we're just scratching the surface of what this can be, and I think the word's going to get out and more people are going to come and see these things. Yeah, I think it's an exciting time to be a trail runner. I think it's an exciting time to be a trail filmmaker. You know, it's just exciting for the whole sport in general, and it's growing. That's one of the main things I'm really excited about is growing up, going to ski films during the winter, going to mountain bike films during the summer, like right before the summer months. That was just something I did. It was just part of my culture. But now, there was never a trail running forum really for that, at least where I grew up. And now seeing and being a part of it and kind of seeing this growth, the trail running film idiom it's happening now. Like, it's starting. Yeah. And in 5 years, it's going to be huge. Oh yeah. I mean, when I started doing trail races, ultras 13 years ago, there's no way we could do what we're doing. There's no way you could be doing this. There wouldn't be Ginger Runner Live. Yeah, no, there just weren't enough people. There wasn't enough interest. Yeah. It just was happening on such a small scale back then, if even at all. And I think we're just a few years behind, you know, those mountain bike movies and climbing movies and all the other ones. It's just a matter of time before it grows. And I think those of us that are involved in it right now have I think almost a responsibility for helping to promote it, helping to share it, helping to guide it, I think, down the right path.
Yeah.
It's, there's a lot of old school ultra runners out there that don't like that the races are growing. They don't like that, you know, Dean Karnazes is on the Tonight Show. They don't like that everybody that's done a 5K is now thinking about doing a 50K. But for me, I don't take that approach. I feel like the more people we have out running on the trails, the better, because I think it's a social and health and environmental reason for me. Like the more people that are out enjoying the outdoors, the more likely they're going to take care of them in a variety of different ways, based on, you know, like how they vote or how they spend their money, or, you know, the cars they drive or the food they eat. So there's so many different offshoots on if you care about the environment, you change your behaviors and you change what you do. And if you are out there in the environment, getting dirty and getting sweaty and being a part of it, then you're so much more connected to it and you want to protect it. And to me, that's a really important thing to me. I maybe not everybody sees that the same way, but I just feel like, yes, there's definitely challenges to our sport growing and having so many more people than 10 years ago that wanted to do these things. But I think that's a good problem to have. And I think we can figure out good solutions. I think there's new races popping up all the time. You don't have to have something like Leadville where they have 1,000 people and it becomes this mess. Instead, you have hundreds of new 100-milers, and everybody can choose a different 100-miler. Everybody doesn't have to go to Leadville. There's so many other choices out there other than Leadville. Don't go to Leadville. Leadville's become a mess.
I was going to ask you about that during the main show, but because you kind of touched on that.
Although they're making changes. I hear they're getting better.
They made some changes this year that were better, but I haven't been. So.
But in general, the sport, it's yes. One race can grow really big. I mean, I've heard there's some negative feedback for the Rainshadow Running races that, you know, you can't just sign up the day of the race anymore. You can't just wait until the last minute and come do it. Or you come up and it's 250 people doing the race instead of 100 like the old days. I understand that upsets some people, and people are going to go choose to do other races instead. I mean, I get that and I understand, but I think there's no way around that. Like, races are going to become, if they're done well, if they're in a cool place, whether they're ours or somebody else's, they're just going to have more and more people wanting to do them. And I think as race directors and as a community, we have to figure out ways to solve those problems. Yeah, I think the growth of the sport's a good thing in general.
I'm new. I'm new to ultra. I'm about 3 years into it.
So you're the problem.
So I am the problem. No, I'm 100% going to admit that I am the problem, because there are a lot of ultra guys and girls out there that are OG. They're old school. And they've been a part of this sport long before it was glamorized by film or by social media or anything, or by books. They've been doing it since the origins. Even before it was a thing.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can go run 50 miles. I mean, before it was even a sanctioned race, they were just doing it. So I, as someone who is very much out there with social media and with film, I'm very aware of it. And it's tough, because a part of me wants to tell these stories, but the other side of me is like, you got to let the OG guys, you know, kind of dictate what happens. But at the same point, there are stories to be told. I love that the sport is growing. I love that people are transitioning to these harder distances, these harder mediums, and pushing themselves. The only reason I made the transition was because I really wanted to push myself, and I did, and it sucked. But now I'm looking back going, best decision I ever made. I never look back and regret that decision to jump into ultras. It just changed my life for the better. It made me a healthier human being. It made me more conscious about trails and nature and like voting issues, like you said. So if that is something that is spreading, I'm a fan of it. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting culture. Someone brought up an interesting point here about filmmaking, that there's no, let's see, I want to make sure I read it right.
I love that there's so many comments in the chat that you can't find the comment.
No, it's awesome. The live viewers of the show are just fantastic.
Thanks for being here, everybody.
Yeah, sometimes, like, what sucks is that the show, once it's posted live within 3 hours of the show being over, YouTube does not keep the live comments. They're
Oh.
still there, but YouTube has like, oh, well, all the live comments don't count. So any comment after the live show are what show up. So I'm going to try to read as many as possible.
Was it the challenge is to film running in an interesting way?
Yes.
Is that where you're going?
Yes.
So the challenge is to film running in an interesting way. It feels fast to runners, but most non-runners are bored with running videos. So where you can say it.
Yeah, so this is interesting. So running films, when I first started, I agree with this, is that you can't just film yourself running and have it be interesting. As a filmmaker and as someone who wants to see a story or follow some sort of dialogue or anything like that, with mountain bike films, you're able to see these cool tricks. You're able to see cool stunts and cool areas and really cool stories. With skiing movies, it's the same thing. You know, you're in these really amazing locales and you're seeing them do tricks and stunts, and there's some sort of through line with these athletes. They almost die. And you're just like, oh my God, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. With trail running, you can't just film running because that's not really interesting unless it is.
I hear exactly what you're saying. So for a while, back in the 80s, ABC Wide World of Sport. Would actually fly over Western states and some of the other major ultra running races with a helicopter and film the action.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Now we have drones, which are pluses and minuses. The drones can be so much closer to the action. It's a lot more affordable. Everybody can have one type thing. You can get some shots with a drone that are pretty exciting. Also, you can, if the race is cool enough, so to plug one of our races, Yakima Skyline, we're going to be premiering to the general public.
So beautiful.
The Project Tularia Yakima Skyline probably tonight. Stay tuned to all of the Rainshadow Running.
You mean tomorrow?
Feeds.
LA? No, tonight?
Well, I think Matt said it should be
ready.
ready.
He posted in the chat.
Oh.
Oh, in the
Oh,
back.
you-
So they've got some really great. So him and Dave have, over the past almost 2 years now of filming our races, have grown up from basically like toddlers to now like graduate students in their filmmaking abilities and their editing abilities. And their latest work is the Yakima Skyline race, and they have some close-up, zoomed-in footage of numerous runners, including Seattle's Adam Huey, just flying down the Yakima Skyline course. Very technical, steep trails, and you're just watching their feet, and it's dramatic. It's exciting. There's a guy that almost falls. I mean, he's not going to die like in skiing maybe, but there's some excitement. And then also another film that's currently in our lineup for the film festival is a film by Joel Wolpert, who made Unbreakable.
He's fantastic,
Or no, wait, that was J.B. Bennett that made Unbreakable. Joel Wolpert did
Depressions?
Well, Depressions is what I'm talking about. I'm blanking on. Well, he did In the High Country with Anton Kupichka.
Yeah,
I mean, there's like a handful of guys around the country that are at the upper echelon of trail running films, and we've got pretty much all of them in our film festival. We need some gals doing this. We haven't talked about women in the trail running filmmaking industry and promoting that. We need to work on that. But so anyhow, so Joel goes to the Grand Canyon with Rob Crard in 2013 Ultra Runner of the Year, and Rob is just flying down into the Grand Canyon, and Joel is right there with him with a camera, getting his footwork, and it's not bouncy. It's not ugly. You're not getting sick watching it. It's smooth footage. And then coming right back up again. Rob is just working hard running up this mountain, and there is that excitement. There is like, and so to get back to the question from the guy in the chat is like, how do you take something that's exciting to all of us runners, all of us runner nerds here that care about these things, that are watching, all this stuff, to the general public, and how do you make this exciting to them like a mountain biking thing is?
Yeah.
And I think it's starting to happen because, one, technology, and two, there's just so many people doing it that it's innovating, and people are figuring out these techniques and they're learning from each other. And you can show a running video that is exciting to watch for someone other than a runner. And I think we're just going to get better and better at it. And then, like you were saying, you have all of that. You can, the basis for a lot of the films is the personal interest story.
Yeah.
And so a lot of non-runners connect with that. And I think when we're really going to hit the home run is when we finally figure out how to do the human interest, get people sucked in with like, oh my gosh, that's such an amazing story, how this guy trained for this really hard thing and actually went through all these obstacles and came out and achieved what he was shooting for. And combine that with really amazing footage of the really difficult parts of that race where it actually is exciting to see them run down that mountain.
Yeah.
Or you see the sweat dripping off of his face as he's climbing up some steep thing. Maybe road running, maybe there's not as much drama in the actual footage, but I don't know, probably there is. But with the trail races, the terrain creates for some amazing obstacles for people to, I mean, you guys, it's Squamish. I mean, Squamish has got to be a prime example. Gary Robbins' race up there, of all the roots and rocks and how steep and gnarly it is. There's a lot of races out there like that, like Barkley, another film that we're showing in the film fest. It's like, the course is so crazy that an average person, I mean, Gretchen's parents are not runners. And they're like borderline obsessed, I think, with the race now. I mean, they were really into it. I mean, they were like, they had so many questions about the race. I mean, you could tell they were excited about it.
That's insane. I mean, because that's, as soon as you get into ultra, eventually you hear about Barkley's. And when you start to research it, you go, oh, fuck. Like, basically everything I've done up to this point means nothing compared to Barkley's or Plane 100.
Well, yeah, there's a handful of
but yeah, when you see
film,
like, I can't wait to see this. Because the film follows this journey through Barkley's, which is just, it's notorious for being the most difficult ultra.
It was created to be almost impossible.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible to finish.
But a lot with that film too is, again, the people and the
characters.
Yeah,
characters
Telling their story.
Yeah.
and Laz. I mean,
the race director.
I mean, my parents love him. They kind of
Such a character.
yeah, a lot of the characters that again, the human interest story, but then they go off and
Then you
do
see
this
them
race.
Yeah.
So you're
falling back down the mountain.
They were hooked in. That's what we watched. You know,
Going
I
through
hope to
Briar
meet him
patches.
someday because he seems like such a
Right,
perfect character.
right.
Okay, what other questions do we have?
IUS Running says, Ethan, as a running filmmaker, do you ever feel as though you're infringing on the sanctity of the trails when you're filming? I would say, that's a good question. While I'm filming, Gorge is a good example. Gorge features some of the most, in my mind, pristine and just gorgeous trails because you're running by waterfalls and just like untouched, raw nature. Where yes, there might be a trail through it, but you're really seeing something that
Just inches off the trail.
inches. Oh my God, it's like
There's
breathtaking.
moss everywhere. It's just, you
It's
did a great job
lush.
of capturing how the water just like drips down off the trees and the rocks.
And not just that, but like the mist. You're constantly in a waterfall, even if you're not at a waterfall. You're running through the mist of a waterfall. So in
and
my
all
mind,
the gnomes that live there. I mean,
the little creatures that live in the wood. A part of me, I mean, yes, there's always the sense of this is like a really rare place, and I shouldn't film this. And this is something that you really need to experience by running through it firsthand. But the other side of me is, I want to share this with as many eyes as possible, so they hopefully get their feet there.
Exactly.
So I don't know. It's kind of a hard judgment call. When I'm like Squamish is a good example because Squamish is much longer. I did the Gorge 50K took just 5.5 hours, under 6 hours for me. So I wasn't out there for a long time. Whereas Squamish, I was out there for a day. I was out there for a long time. But there's a lot of sections where you're just not filming because it's either too technical and you're gonna die if you hold a camera in a hand and you're trying to run down. But it's also sections of this trail I just don't want to document because it's also, you want to save it for those who are gonna partake in this event next year. I know in my mind as I'm running, I'm like, okay, this is a good scene to film. Let's film this. Let's document this. I might not include it in my final edit. I might include it in my final edit. But the goal is to show you a rough idea of what the race is, not everything. The last thing I want to do is film every square foot of a race, because that just takes away from the experience of running it. So any film that you see of mine at all documents a fraction. I would say 5 to 10% of it. If a film is 10 minutes long, that's probably because I filmed 15 to 20 minutes and I just edited it down. The race took 6 hours. You know, so you're not seeing a very large portion of that race.
I would be curious if the person who asked that question, if you're still on and you want to respond, we would love to hear, you know, maybe why you think it's a bad idea to, if you do think it's a bad idea. Could definitely be really curious to hear more about that side of the story.
Kim, did you see anything in there?
Dan was asking James if you could have Rainshadow hold a race anywhere in the world.
Ooh.
Where would it be?
Well, so I did put on a race, was it, I think 2005 or 2006, in the San Juan Mountains of Colorado. Same
No
place
shit,
where
really?
the mountains,
Wow.
same mountains where Hard Rock is. And I would love to put that race on again. It was a 50K with 14,500 feet of elevation gain.
Woo!
Average elevation was 11,000 feet above sea level, so you're at high altitude.
Oh my God, no big deal.
It went up and over 4 mountains. 3 of the 4 were over 13,000 feet. And the short one was only 12,500 feet. It was called the Epic 50K. We only did it 1 year. The winners of the race were brothers. You guys have probably heard of them, Eric Skaggs and Kyle Skaggs.
Yep, the Skaggs brothers.
Anybody want to guess what their winning time was for a really hard 50K?
8:40.
Wow, that's a pretty good guess.
What was it? Oh, no.
8:56.
No shit.
Yeah, so
Wow.
almost 9 hours to win.
But that's
50K.
crazy. I was thinking like I was over
Right,
around.
because you didn't want me to. Yeah. So the next person in was 3 hours later. So 12 hours. The first female was 13 hours. This is for 50K.
Oh my God.
We had a 16-hour cutoff. Half the runners didn't make the cutoffs. You had to qualify by running things like Hard Rock or Squaw Peak 50 miler or Zane Grey 50 miler, like really hard ultras just to qualify to get into the race. So I would love to put that race on again.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, it was
terrible.
It was 1/3 trail, 1/3 really rough 4-wheel drive Jeep road, and 1/3 just completely off trail, following like elk trails and going through scree fields. And because of that 1/3 off trail section, it's really hard to get approval from the Forest Service. But if we can figure out a way to make that work, it was, in my opinion, the hardest 50K that's ever existed. So
It sounds terrible.
the
It sounds
hardest 50K in the universe, I think, is fair to say.
Oh my God.
Because if you think of like Speed Goat, which is arguably the hardest 50K
tough.
in the country,
Same with Zane.
with like 11,000, maybe almost 12,000 feet of elevation gain for a 50K.
At altitude.
It's you know, the winning time for that I think is around 5 hours, 5.5
Yeah.
hours. Carl, if you're listening, you can chime in and tell us. What's another hard 50K?
Zane Grey.
Well, that's 50 miler.
That's 50K.
You're
You're right. No, Zane Grey 50 miler.
There's Sean Blanton, the run bum out in Georgia, has a really hard 50K that he's claiming as the hardest in the world. It's super technical. It's got, I think, 10 or 11,000 feet of elevation gain. These races, you know, they're not going to take the winner 9 hours to win for one of, I mean, Eric and Kyle Skaggs, for you guys that don't know them, Kyle, until Killian beat his record, Kyle had the record for Hard Rock. He beat Scott Jurek's course record by over 4 hours. I mean, Scott Jurek, I think a lot of you guys know who he is. Kyle just annihilated his record, and Killian was the first person to break it.
Has Kyle said anything about coming back,
6 years.
by the way?
Kyle
He said if his record was broken, he would come back.
I didn't know that. Kyle and I, we started running together, ultras. Well, he started running ultras with me, and he learned everything. No, I'm just kidding. I taught him everything I knew, and then 2 minutes later he was He's a phenomenal runner. He's working on his farm. He has an amazing organic farm in New Mexico where he's just killing it. He just basically put all the other farmers out of business. He's such a good farmer.
Good for him.
He's really good. He loves running in the mountains. It's a passion of his. The racing, being in the spotlight maybe was not what he was really excited about. So I don't know if he'll ever have time with this farming. It takes a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of energy. Yeah. So I'm sure he still runs in the mountains some. He lives in the mountains in New Mexico. I'm sure he runs some, but to come back to Hard Rock, I don't know. I don't know if that'll happen. I would love for it to happen. I'd love for him. Definitely his biggest fan.
Because he kind of came out of nowhere.
He came out of nowhere and was one of the very best runners in the entire world for like 2 years. Yeah. He was basically Killian before Killian.
Right.
Him and Anton Krupicka were, the top 2 runners at that time. And Kyle, decided to be a farmer instead. And he set records at some amazing races. He won and set records at Orcas Island, the first 2 years.
That's I have to say,
he's won Chuckanut 50K. He's won some really fast ones. He's set the record at Wasatch. Not the current one, but he set a record there. And so what are we talking about?
hardest 50Ks.
Oh yeah, really hard 50Ks. So him and his brother Eric, who was 100K trail national champion, super good runner himself. And they're both like sponsored runners, and it took them almost 9 hours to win the epic 50K. And so that just tells you just how hard that course is. And I would love. Most of our 50Ks are really hard, and the most amount of time we give anybody is 9 hours.
It's 9 hours, yeah.
For that race, that's just the start of the race. Yeah. The cutoff was 16 hours. So, okay, more questions.
This is from me. There's actually been some good comments. Kim, hold on to the questions you have. Gretchen, what's next for you?
Oh.
Besides the Trail Running Film Festival, obviously.
Yeah.
Do you have any races coming up, or?
Man, just a fat ass. I don't know. To get back in shape, one thing. Discovering being on the road is we sit a whole heck of a lot. We have run
the last couple of weeks we've been running.
The last couple of weeks, and again we did race. At least I raced. We both raced Sky to Summit in Georgia.
Ooh,
and that was beautiful, super hard, great course. But yeah, I feel, gosh, I to be honest, I would love to run more Rainshadow running races. I've only run the one with Sun Mountain, and now I'll be, helping out behind the scenes. But if I could pick out one of those, and Orcas, I've heard about Orcas since I started, running ultras. So, at one point in time, I'd like to run it. But right now, we don't have anything. I don't have anything calendared. I think James might have.
Film festival for you, and then 2015 is still up in the air as far as the race calendar.
Yeah.
James, what about you?
Well, I'm in the Hard Rock lottery again.
Yes.
This is maybe my 10th year in a row of being in the lottery.
No way, really?
If I get in this year, it'll be my 6th time running it.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I love that race. I put in every year, and if I don't get in, I go out and I pace and volunteer.
Or do soft rock or.
Right, yeah, I do. I go out there,
yeah.
I've gone out there so much that I know every inch of that trail. I know all the roads. I know the towns. I know the people. It's near and dear to my heart, and it's something that I can't imagine ever not going to. It's just something I really want to be a part of every year. So hopefully I get in. Everybody, cross your fingers for me. A new thing that I've never tried before. Something I've been on the fence about for a long time. It's definitely a byproduct of the brainwashing of watching our Trail Running Film Festival every night. I'm going to send an email to Lazarus Lake asking to be accepted into the Barkley. It's one of those races that's so crazy that it's like, there's no way I want to do that race. Yeah. It's going to be so painful, so miserable, but that's why we do ultras. It's for the pain and the misery and for the challenge. And so I feel like that's like the ultimate challenge. And as David Horton said, there is nothing harder out there. That's the way to measure yourself. And I'm really curious to see. I feel like I can finish it. which is insane because
Wow.
there's maybe only, what, I think 14 finishers.
Yeah,
in-
14 or 15.
in
a couple
almost 30
doubles,
years.
but that's it.
Yeah, almost 30 years this race has existed, and
Wow.
I just feel like, I mean, this is totally setting myself up to fail, but I mean, it's an amazing achievement. I have really good friends that I respect a ton who have gone there and have finished one loop or haven't even finished a loop, or have gotten, it's a 5-loop race. It's 100 miles plus.
We had Jameel
And-
Curry on the show. He did the fun run
Yes,
version.
Jameel is a great runner. You know, I don't mean to disrespect anybody by sitting here in this chair without ever even stepping a foot in Frozen Head State Park and saying, I feel like I can finish that race. But that's just, I feel like I can finish that race. And in the film, you see, like, there's people like, I thought I knew what it was, but I had no idea how hard it was. I know I'm going to get there and be like, holy
Beyond what you ever thought.
this is way worse than I could imagine. But I am going to train my butt off. I'm going to prepare for those conditions. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to learn the lay of the land. I'm going to talk to veterans. I'm going to watch the movie over and over again. By the way, Annika and Tim, the filmmakers of the Barkley Marathons, are going to be at tomorrow night's showing of the Trail Running Film Festival. They're going to show exclusive footage of the film that's out now in major festivals, and they'll be releasing soon to the general public. So if you want to come and meet the filmmakers of the Barkley Marathon, come out tomorrow night to LA, whatever tomorrow is, December 2nd.
December 2nd.
Yeah.
That's the first.
Yeah, so they'll be there, special guests.
That's amazing. I think we just uncovered something pretty amazing. If James gets in, you're going to try to get into Barclays.
I'm trying to get in Barkley, yes.
That's amazing.
I'm trying to bury that with
No, if he gets in, I feel like I just have to mentally and physically prepare for
crewing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I mean,
Which
we've heard allowed to
it's
be at
really
one station,
stressful
right?
to crew at.
one station.
Yeah,
You're
every
at
20,
base camp.
20 to 25 miles, you come back.
And
big
for
loops.
one loop, I mean, it might take him hours,
16, 20
16 hours, and so there is.
What was the record? The record, there was one guy,
Oh, yeah. The best failure of.
he only made it 2 miles of the course in something like 32 hours or 18 hours or something ridiculous.
Oh.
So, yeah, like the course is, it's your worst nightmare.
If you don't know what Barclays is, look it up. Just Google it, and there's films, there's websites dedicated to this race. It's
But
supposed
no
to be
official website.
but nothing official.
Yeah, the application process is secret.
I've heard it's very secret and it's very difficult to
I'm
get
not going to
into.
say it right now.
If you get in, James, I somehow want to be there to film something of it, even if it's.
Oh.
Yes.
I just want to try to document your journey, or give you GoPros, or attach it to you
Yeah.
to document this experience.
If I
Because,
get in, yeah.
yeah, if you get in, because it's like I wouldn't be able to follow you for more than like 5 miles. I'm sure of it, but I could probably strap shit to you to document
You
it.
don't go fast.
No, you don't go fast. It's definitely
It's a lot more
it's an
complicated
experience.
than that.
Because it's one of those things. It's like, well, maybe it's on my list 10 years from now. I try to surround myself with really tough ultra runners. James is one of those guys. I'm trying to run his races just to beef up my ability to run hard races,
To earn your chops.
to earn my chops. Same with Gary Robbins. These guys are some of the toughest of the toughest. They've done the hardest races. They put on some of the hardest races. So my goal is to always sign up for the hardest of blank. But the fact that you said Plain 100 was your first 100 makes me go,
It's not normal.
it's not normal. That my first 100 will not be the Plain 100. But in part of me, it's like, I gotta do it now. I have to do Plain 100.
It's a really cool race.
It looks gorgeous.
It's so underestimated. I
unbelievable.
think in a lot of different ways.
If you guys have any questions before we let them go, before we devour our pizza and continue the beer partaking, let us know right away. Kim, was there anything in there that I missed? Because there's.
I wish we could answer all the questions. I feel like there's a bunch we missed. No, are we on it?
No, there's a ton of comments. James, I'll run that. Please pass it on again. 12 hours. And Kyle Skaggs at Hard Rock in sub 24. That's insane.
Yeah.
He is insane. I hope he comes back to try to reclaim his record, because I have a feeling if there's anyone that's going to do it, it's going to be
Usually
Kyle.
you can be top 10 at Hard Rock and run like 30 hours. And so to have a winning time under
nuts.
24 hours, to be 6 hours faster than the top 10.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
People are asking where to get their Rainshadow running gear or sled.
Oh yeah,
Like Ethan's hat, like Gretchen's.
I got my Rainshadow hat on. Gretchen's got hers on.
You guys have
Our
an online
store, yeah, rainshadowrunning.com. Go to our store. Also, we have it for sale at all of our races. One thing, we should have brought the display. We have, for those of you that are a big fan of train race beer, right?
Mhm.
For the beer part, a lot of you guys are fans of beer. At all of our races from here forth until we say so, we are going to have these really awesome handmade growlers. The growlers themselves are not handmade, but they, by a local artist, he etches into them the logo of each of our races and then hand paints the logos. So Oregon Coast was the first time we did that, and we just gave it to the winners, the top male and female winners. But from now on, we're gonna have them for sale to everybody. So we have hats, we have shirts, we have hoodies, we have growlers, we have stickers. All of our races, we do stickers with the logos on them.
Can I give away some buffs tomorrow night?
Yeah, totally.
Give away? Okay, cool. I have emergency buffs for a couple of orders that were emergencies that didn't receive their buffs. So I would like to give maybe 1 or 2 away tomorrow night, if that's possible.
Yeah, we have prizes to give away at all of our film festivals.
A question from Joseph Bowden. Who is your inspiration, Gretchen?
Oh, good question. Inspiration. Think about that one. Do you?
Jen?
Yeah.
Well, lots of inspiration. My dad is a big inspiration. He's the answer.
Oh, nice.
My entire family.
Oh,
Thanks, Dad.
Mom and Dad.
I feel like my dad would have been an ultra runner if he had found out about it at the right time, the right place. He was definitely athletic. Both him and my mom ran in high school. My dad always ran a mile during lunch break at work and stuff. I took him once on a trail run. It was going to be a 50-mile trail run for me, and then my dad was like, "Oh, I want to join you." And I was like, "You haven't really exercised in 5 years. I don't know if a 50-mile trail run would be a good idea." So we did a 26-mile trail run.
Oh my God.
We went out the day before to the local track and did 1 mile around the track. And I was like, "This is about the pace we're going to do for 26 miles." I was like, "I can do this." And so we went out, and it was a suffer fest, but we did a run walk mix, and he did it. And we got done a little bit after dark, and he didn't die, didn't go to the hospital. So that is super tough and definitely a big inspiration. And I would have loved to have seen him doing some of these crazy 100-milers. Maybe it's not too late yet. Get in shape, Dad. Come on. And then like runner inspirations, Billy Simpson. I met him my very first year at Hard Rock.
Yeah.
Tough as nails. He is usually
Talking about old school guys.
up there, running super fast despite being old, 20 years older than everybody around him at Hard Rock. He's kicking butt. He's also fast on the track and other stuff. And he lives in Memphis. He comes from Memphis and kicks butt at Hard Rock. David Horton is definitely a polarizing figure. He's a character, but I wouldn't be doing ultras if it wasn't for him. And he won Hard Rock the first 2 years that Hard Rock existed. He's run across the country doing the race across America. He was the first person to run the PCT. He was the first person to run the AT.
Yep.
Big inspiration. He was one of the first person to be a race director of multiple races. He pulls together the running community, the trail running community in the East Coast. He's inspirational. So there's so many people that are inspirational. I mean, I could go on and on.
I just thought of something. Seeing Western Time.
Oh
yeah.
Sally.
Sally.
I was actually
Absolutely.
at Sean O'Brien, so I got to see that finish. But then seeing that backstory, wow. I mean, talk about quite the inspiration. So, I mean, again, I'm fairly new to ultra marathons, but oh man, that was a great inspiration.
Yeah.
Good job, Billy.
Yes.
Do you need permission to show the movies, or are they all just excited to have them played?
Both. Yes, we get permission from all the people that we show the films, but they're also really excited to have them shown. I mean, just like anything, like if one thing, so let's talk about a hot topic, at least in my world, is photographs from races. Everybody out there, you've done it. You've taken a photograph and you've posted on your profile or whatever, and you have not credited the photographer. I've done it. I'm not ashamed to say it. It happens. Sometimes you're in a hurry or you don't know who it is. You don't want to do the research to find out. But somebody worked hard to make that photograph, to buy the equipment, to learn how to use the equipment. And so Glenn Takayama is a great photographer.
Glenn's awesome. Races. So nice too.
Paul Nelson from Portland's another one. You know, we've had a bunch of different photographers over the years that do our races and all over the country. And it's a really good thing to do, to get in the habit of crediting the person who took the photo. And the same, that applies to the films. It's like, these filmmakers put a lot of work into this, and so we want to do what we can to, one, like obviously get the permissions, first step, but two, try to, like, you know, we link to their websites on our website. We mention them on Facebook. We try to, we share the love. So everybody out there, share the love.
I love that you brought up Glenn. Glenn's amazing. Such a nice dude. Has always come up like at the beginning of a race saying, "Hey man, I'll be out there. I'll be at this place or whatever, taking photographs." An amazing photographer. If you've ever run a Rainshadow race, you met Glenn. He's taken a photo of you at some point. Any plans to do a winter Nordic ski race by Rainshadow Running?
Who? That's a plant.
That's from Max Eastbrook.
That seems like a planted question from either Matt and Carrie trying to help us promote, or from Danica at Met Trails in Met. So we are partnering with Met Trails, which is in the North Cascades, on the sunny side of the North Cascades, where they get tons of snow. They have the largest in the nation network of groomed Nordic trails. So if you're a Nordic skier out there who wants to train through the winter, be in good shape for the spring to be a runner, or if you've never gone Nordic skiing in your life and you want to do that cross-country skiing and stay in shape through the winter if you live in a cold place, look into methaltrails.com. Amazing place to go for a vacation. We have 2 of our trail running races there. Angel Staircase is in that area, Sun Mountain's in that area. Winthrop Road Marathon, which we started and handed off to some friends, is in that area. So we're teaming up with them. They have a 2-day race where the first day is classic skiing, which for those of you that aren't familiar, it's kind of the Nordic track kind of skiing where your hands are going straight forward, your feet are going straight forward. It's the classic way of Nordic skiing. And then there's this thing called skate skiing, where it's a more modern style, where it's more like ice skating, where you're kind of going this way, and then you're going this way, and this way, and you're this way. Your feet are going that way, and your hands are pulling. So one day is classic, and they keep track of your times, and then the next day is skate, and they keep track of your times, and they combine the times, and you have an overall winner for the whole weekend. For those of you that aren't ready to do 2 ski races back-to-back days, we have a new race called the Met House Snow Trail Race. It's 15K, and you run on compacted snow trails, unless we have just a dumping of snow. You won't need snowshoes. You can just run in your regular shoes on trails that are covered in snow in a beautiful place, actually at Sun Mountain, where we do a regular trail race in the summertime. 15K on Saturday. And then on Sunday, you can participate in the skate race, which is 30K. Or if 30K is too far, which that's pretty far if you're a beginner Nordic skier, you can team up with 2 other people and you each do a 10K leg. So it's a 3-person relay for the 30K. So that race is coming up in January. It is the third or fourth weekend in January. It's not the last weekend in January because that's our Orcas Island 25K, but it's the weekend before that. And yeah, we're encouraging as many people to come out and do that. We're going to have clinics specifically for runners wanting to learn how to Nordic ski in the area. The day before the race, we're going to do a class. There's going to be free ski rentals and free classes the day before to get everybody ready. We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff to try to help people transition from being a runner to being a Nordic skier.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the best experiences I can even imagine.
Oh, and just like all of our other races, at the end of the weekend, we're gonna have a big celebration with a live band, beer, with pizza. We're doing the Pine Hearts are.
We have to give them a shout out just in general because they're at most of your races at the moment.
Go to thepinehearts.com. Check them out.
Awesome.
Really cool Americana / bluegrass / kind of indie band. Joe, the lead guy, is actually working in the South Pole this winter.
No way.
And they're gonna do he's gonna do some shows on his way home from the South Pole in New Zealand. So for our New Zealand audience, or Antarctica audience, look for shows with Joe Kaposha and the Pine Hearts there. But when they get home in the spring, they'll be back at all of our races and touring the country as they do. They're really great music.
I love them. At the end of all the races that I've run, they're amazing to have like a really great band there, lifting up the spirits, and you can eat pizza and drink beer and listen to them and dance. It's just awesome. We're gonna kind of wrap up here, guys, just because I know that it's already getting towards 8 o'clock, and
we can just talk all night.
We can talk all night, and we have pizza and we have beer. So that's gonna be it for tonight's show. Those of you who ask questions, maybe we'll answer them next week. Hopefully, I can maybe recoup them or answer them in the comments.
Or go to our Facebook or Twitter or email. We can continue the conversation on social media.
And just once again, for them to reach out to you, how would they get it?
Rainshadowrunning.com is the home for everything. From rainshadowrunning.com, you can go to the Trail Film Fest website. You can go to all of our different social media. That's the best way. Otherwise, I'd be talking for 10 minutes about all of our different addresses and hashtags and stuff.
Well, I can't wait for tomorrow night. Kim and I will be there for the LA screening. The Trail Run Film Festival will be in Los Angeles tomorrow, and we'll be there. And 4 more venues: Sacramento, Monterey, Portland / Vancouver, Washington, and Seattle. If you can make any of those 4 in that area, go get your tickets now. Sell them out. Support these guys.
Should we drop a hint?
Yeah.
Our last 2 shows will have a special musical guest, the Portland show, and there'll be 2 special guests. One filmmaker and star of one of the films will be there to do a Q&A, and then one musical guest will be doing 3 songs. And the hint is that musical guest has been on the Ginger Runner Live sometime in the past 42 shows.
It's not me.
It's not Kim. It's not Kim. I honestly am contemplating, can I buy a ticket home to Seattle to see this show? It is going to be that worth it. I guarantee you it's going to be worth it.
One other thing.
Oh,
sorry. For those of you guys that are listening, if you're contemplating getting tickets to these shows at all, buy them now. Almost all of them are very close to selling out. In the last 2 shows, we've turned sad people away. And it makes us sad.
Just get the tickets online. Don't show up at the venue thinking, oh, there's plenty of room. There's not.
Except for Sacramento. Sacramento is like a 900-seat theater, so.
Oh, you have plenty of room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And actually, for that one, there's a really high ticket charge when you buy online, which is ridiculous. We didn't know about it at the time. We're really sorry. If we had known, we would have done something totally different. So just wait and buy your ticket there at the day of the show, because it won't sell out, because it's 900 seats. And
that's awesome.
You save like $10. It's insane. It's like, what's it, 9 something?
Holy crap! Like a ticket charge, an online ticket charge?
Service fee is it's insane for a $20 ticket.
All right. Well, if you're in LA, Monterey, Vancouver, Portland, or Seattle, then get your tickets. If you're in Sacramento, just get them at the door. 900 people. That sounds like an awesome venue.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's pretty much it. I appreciate you guys tuning in live again tonight. We'll see you next Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, for a recap of the North Face 50 miler, hopefully with some special guests. Again, I have to thank my guests, Gretchen Walla, James Varner of Rainshadow Running / Trail Run Film Festival, and of course, my lovely fiance, Miss Kimberley Teshima, aka Mile Long Legs. You guys are fantastic for tuning in live. We'll see you next week, and that is it for tonight's show.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.